Hello, welcome back to Logic Lab, a channel where I teach puzzle solving one deduction at a time. As I work through this Sudoku grid, I'll explain my entire thought process, and by the end of the solve, you'll have a clear understanding of how to read Sudoku structure, spot hidden interactions, and break open even the trickiest of puzzles. Let's dive in. Okay, welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to be trying Framed in Green by Enpee. Normal Sudoku rules apply, that is, place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. German whispers, adjacent digits along a green line have a difference of at least 5. So for instance, adjacent digits along this green line have a difference of at least 5. So this were, let's say, 4. This cell would have to be at least 5 from 4, which it would have to be a 9. Crop key, a black dot connects two digits where one is double the other. So we have one crop key dot here and one crop key dot there. Those are all the rules. The way to play is to click the link in the video description. Now it's my turn. Let's do it. All right, first thing I'll do whenever I see like a German Whisper puzzle, and there's a decent amount of German Whisper lines, I will color these. So what do I mean by that? Well, those three cells, right? If we imagine how it goes along the German Whisper line, you alternate between low and high digits because this cell is 5 different from this cell. So if this cell were low, this cell would have to be high. And then this cell, 5 different from the high digits, so it's low. So they alternate like this between low, 1, 2, 3, 4, and high, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can never put a 5 on a German Whisper because it would be, the next digit would have to be a 0 or a 10, which we can't do. So that's what that coloring would look like. Now, real quick, I'm just going to put in the 5s. The 5 in this box must go here, since it's the only cell that's not on a German Whisper line. So I am just going to go through that. Now the 5 must go there in this box. 5 must go here, so it's down here. And now it must go there, so now it's in one of 3 positions. The 5 can't go on the black crappy dot, because then you'd have to have a 10 or a 2.5, which are not valid. So the 5's in one of 2 positions. And then the 5's in one of 2 positions there. So that's the best I could do for the 5's. Now, this is another Germ Whisper line. So we know whatever these two digits are, it's either one blue and it's going to be one blue and one red. So put that in there. I don't know what these are, but we actually do know because blue, right, is either all low or all high. There's 3 blues here. There's another blue in one of 2 positions. So that uses up all 4 blues, so we need to make this square red. And then this is blue. Okay. Now, there's a bit of symmetry going on here. Notice how these German whispers kind of cover this symmetrical area in the corner boxes. So let's do the same thing and take a look at box 3. I'm going to use different colors because we don't know if gray is the same as blue or red. I'm using different colors for now. And by symmetry, it's the same idea. It's one of each. And then this, since we have 1, 2, 3, 4 grays, this must be the other one, which is pink. Okay. Now, if we take a look at this stretch, it's very interesting because what's happening? Well, this is lower high, right? It's the same as this, which is the same as that. So we can ask ourselves, can these 3, of the lower the high, can they be pink? The answer is no. Because if they were pink, you'd be saying, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits from the low set or 5 digits from the high set, and we only have 4 to choose from, right? There's only 4 digits in the low set, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 digits in the high set, which is a 6, 7, 8, or 9. So therefore, these cannot be pink. So they are gray. Now this does interact, of course, with this. So I will just get rid of this and I'll make it gray. That means this must be pink. That means these are pink. So now we have 1, 2, 3 grays. We need a fourth gray, so it's red. So gray and red are the same. So I'm going to get rid of, this is confusing. I'm getting rid of gray and I'm going to make it red. And then pink and blue are now the same. Hopefully that's clear. I'm just substituting the colors because I think these are the best colors to use with this puzzle. Kind of a dark reddish and then a blue. If I use black or gray, when you notate digits, like it's kind of hard to see them when you do the dark colors. So this should be good. Now this cell is red. And we can play the same game down here. For demonstration purposes, first I'll just say that this is a 5 and a blue cell because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 red. These three will be 1 blue and 2 red. Now, let's do the same game down here. I just, as like a mock color, I'll make them yellow. Hopefully you can see that, and I'll make these dark purple. Okay, so now these are one of each. Now, very similar to how we did in the other boxes. This cell is now purple. And we could do the same thing down here. These are the same. Those are one of each. I'll just do dark green. It's a little ugly for now, but it will eventually clear up in the future. So this cell, we have 1, 2, 3. We need the fourth green. Now we can ask ourselves, just from this picture here, we have 3 of the same lowness and highness. Then we have the greens. Now obviously these can't be part of green because then we'd have 5 of the same. And remember what I said in the earlier example, you could only have 4, maximum of 4 of the same color. So we can't make these green. So then they are red. So this, we will get rid of that and we'll make it red. And then the other one must now be blue. That is how that works. Perfect. And I think we can do the same thing here with these 3 cells. Those 3 cells cannot all be purple because then we'd have 5. So they all are all yellow. That means this is purple. And again, it creates the 3 thing here. These 3 cannot be the same as red because it'll create 5 and we can't have that. So these are now not red, so they are blue. Now I can just stick with, so now all of these are the other one, which is red. So I think I can just stick with 2 colors for now. That's what I will do. So we've used the logic of coloring to deduce this shade of red and blues, meaning red's either all low or all high, and blue's all low or all high. Now this is where this gets interesting. We can take a look at where do 4 and 6 go. Now they are interesting, like critical digits, I will call, in the German whisper space, because wherever you put a 4, the next digit on the German whisper line must be a 9, because that's the only one that differs by 5. And the 6, likewise, the only digit that goes with a 6 is a 1. So for instance, you would not be able to put a 6 here, because that would mean double ones here and here on either side, which would break Likewise, you can't put a 4 or 6 there because that would put double nines or double ones there. So let's ask ourselves, where does the 4 and the 6 go? Let's say in row 2, because there's a lot of green lines. This cannot be 4 or 6 because it's accompanied. These two would have to be the same digit. Okay. This can't be 4 or 6. That can't be 4 or 6. This can't be 4 or 6 or this. So that can't be 4 or 6. That can't be 4 or 6. So there's not many options for which 4 and 6 can exist. And if you look at blue, where does the 4 or the 6 go in blue? Well, it can't go there or there because it's accompanied by two of these digits which are different. And it can't go there, so it must go there. So if this is low, this is a 4. If blue is high, it's a 6. This is symmetrical. This is a 4 or a 6. Hopefully that's clear. Because in blue, in this row, you can't put 4 or 6 in any of those squares. So this is a 4 or 6, that's a 4 or 6. Okay. And the other 4 or 6 either goes here or here. Now, we can take a look at this. It's interesting because blue and red are low and high. They're different. So you can't make this one 2 or 2, 4. You have to either make it 3, 6 or 4, 8. And we can look at each one of those possibilities because the way that it is right and the way that the puzzle looks right now, it's hard to make any progress without starting. This is going to be the breakthrough point. Even this doesn't really tell me much because this could be a low and a high. It could also be two lows, like a 1 and a 2 or a 2 and a 4. Not really a way I can deduce what it's going to. So I will start because if it's a 4 or 6, it's gonna clash with this. So I'm going to start with it being a 4. And we will see what happens. And many of you will be screaming at your TV or your phone or your laptop, calling that this is bifurcation crime. If you don't know what bifurcation is, you can look it up. I say, it's a Sudoku. The goal is to solve the puzzle. Any way you get there, this may not be the cleanest or the most righteous way of doing it, but it is how to get it done. That's how you do it. I could sit here for 4 hours and try to do this and not make any progress. I have a feeling, just because I've been doing puzzles for so long, that this is where the breakthrough is going to happen. So once I get this digit, it will be very important and the puzzle will go smoother. That's the explanation for why I'm doing this. So here's 4, here's 6. So this is double 4, so it is 8. See, and now you can kind of just make these 1, 2, and 3 because they're all low. Where do you put the 6? Oh, well, this is 9 because the 4 is very restricting. It puts 9 on both sides. It makes these 1, 2, 3. This cannot be a 6. This must be a 6. Putting a 6 here would put double ones. So that's a 6, meaning this is a 1. It's 5 different. Taking away the 2 and the 3, this is a high digit. It's not a 6. So it is a 7, which puts the 2 there, puts the 3 there, and all of a sudden, we have gotten this box. But wait a minute. Something is awry. By Sudoku, this seems to be fine, but by German Whisper, the 3 and the 7 cannot be next to each other because they only differ by 4. We need adjacent digits to differ by at least 5. So therefore, assuming it's a mistake. So that's not a 4. So that actually wasn't too long of a bifurcation. Now, let's try to make this a 6. This would then be a 3. This would put, see, it's very forcing. It puts double ones here. It makes this a 4. Okay, this is high, so this is 8 or 9. Um, you could just fill in 7, 8, 9. That's not a 7. To put a 4 somewhere, you can't put the 4 there. The 4 will go there, which will make this a 9, which will make this an 8, which will make that a 7, which would force this to be a 2, forcing this to be a 2. So far, this is okay. Box. This would have to be a 7 or an 8, and so would this. This couldn't be a 3 because it would be next to a 7, which would break on the German Whisper, so this must be a 2. This is a 7 or a 9. This by Sudoku is a 3. So that means these are an 8, 9 pair. That means this is an 8. That is a 9. Forces a 7 here, forces a 7 there. Forces an 8 there. This is now 4, 5 pair. These are 1, 2, so this is a 2. That is a 1, that is a 6. So far, doing really, really good. Let's come down here. Where do you put the 6? The 6 is part of red. It's not here or here or here, so it is there. Now you need to make this a 7. You need to make these 8, 9. You need to make, you can't put a 4 or a 3, so these are a 1, 2 pair. So this is a 3, 4 pair. Now, this can't be a 6 or a 7 or an 8, so it must be a 9, which forces that to be an 8, which means this is a 9, which means that's a 4, and this is a 3. So far, things are going fine. Now, this is a 2 or a 3. Oh, this blue means this is a 4. This is a 1 or a 3. That can't be a 3, because it would mean 8, 9, which would mess this up. So this is a 1, or, well, it can't be a 3, so it is a 1. So now this is a 2. That is a 3. So far, it's okay. And now this is a 6. By Sudoku, it's a 6. It breaks because of this 6 and because of the 2 and the 6 are not 5 apart. So that is a longer bifurcation process, but it's not too hard to realize using step-by-step logic and my coloring that the 6 fails. So we'll try a 3. And we'll see how this goes. 3 and 6. This is a 1. This is a 2, 4 pair. This is an 8, 9. That means that's a 6. That means this is a 6. Okay. This is now not a 4, so it's a 1 and a 2. This means a 7. This can't be a 4, obviously. I'd put double 9s. So this is a 2. That is a 1. That is a 4. That is a 9. That is an 8. You need to put a 7 and a 9, which seems to be fine. This needs to be a 4 because it's low. That's going to put a 9 there. It's going to put a 9 there. Forces that to be a 7, that to be a 9. This is an 8. And now by Sudoku, this is a This is a 7 by Sudoku. That's an 8. We need a 3, which can't go there. So this would be a 3. This would be 1, 2, which does get resolved. Now, let's translate this down here. This is an 8 because it's not a 6, a 7, or a 9. So that gets written in there. So this, you can't have a 4 here or a 2. So you do have 1, 3. These two are low. This is a 3 now, because this can't be a 4. This now must be a 4. Now this is a 1, 2 pair. Looks like everything is working quite nicely. You have to put a 7 in one of 2 positions. You can't put a 6 here. It's not possible. So you must put a 6 there. So this is a 6, 6, 7 pair. That means this is an 8, 9 pair. 8, 9, 8, 9. Now, this is a 2 out of literally nowhere because it can't be a 1 or a 3 or a 4 because it sees 2 things. So this is a 2 that puts a 1 there. That means that's a 2. That would be a 7. That would be a 6. And we are off and running. Now you need a 9, which must go there. You need a 7, which must go there. So far, so good. This would have to be a 4. That would have to be a 9. This would have to be 8. That would have to be 9. Dang, so far, so good. This is yeah, and now the puzzle breaks because the 2 can no longer go in this box. So that was a little bit longer, but the 3 is impossible in row 2, column 3. 3 is impossible. So we have taken about 20 minutes to check for the possible options of 3, 4, 6, and 8. The only one that will work is an 8, which is huge because that means these are 4s. Now we can enjoy the labor of that hard work. So this is a 9. This can't be a 6, so that is a 6. That is a 1. It's differing by 5. That's a 7. So now you can't put a 3 next to a 7, so now this is a 3. And now, hopefully we're going to zoom through this nice and easy. So this is not a 6, so it is a 9. Therefore, this is a 6, which puts double 1s there, which means this is a 2. That's a 1. This is a 2, 3. That's a 2, 3. The 9 by Sudoku is for sure there. This is a 2, 3. That's a 2, 3. So this cell cannot be a 7. It would be accompanied by a 3, which we cannot have. So this is a 7. That is an 8. Now this tells me the order of this. This is not 3 anymore. It must be a 2 to be 5 different from 7. 2. This is a 6. So now we know this is blue and 5. So it is 3, 5. And we know that these cells are 4, 7, and 8. We don't really know what this is. Now let's carry this down. The 7 is in one of 2 positions. This can't be a 6, so it actually is a 7 because it's not 8 or 9, which immediately tells us this is a 7. This is an 8 or a 9. This can't be a 6 because put double ones, that can't be a 6, obviously, so this is a 6. Therefore, these are 8, 9. You can't put a 3 or a 4 anywhere here. So these are 3, 4, and these are 1 and 2. Very nice. Now, this is a high digit, and it's not a 6 or a 7 or a 9, so it is an 8, which forces that to be a 9, that to be an 8. That means this is a 3. That means that's a 4. Now, this is not an 8 anymore. These are low. Need to put 1, 2, and 3 somewhere. The 8 actually by Sudoku is right here. Now this is a 6 because it's not 7, 8, or 9, which must accompany double ones, which looks a little scary, but it is fine. That's a 2, that's a 1. This is now a 3, that's a 2. 2 must go there, which is fine by Sudoku and by German Whisper. So this is a 9 in the corner, which does not get a song. These squares are a 2 and a 9. This is a 6. This is a 4 and a 5. Which makes sense because it's blue, which is low, and then a 5. And these cells are a 3, 7, and a 9. This is no longer a 9. Now we can start working on this. Well, we can just say by Sudoku, sheer Sudoku of all things. That's a 3, 7, and 9. I'm sorry, not 7 and 9. 7 and 8. And this cannot be a 7 because you can't put it on a black dot, obviously. The other one would be 14 or 3.5. So it's 3 or 8, which forces this to be 4 or 6. We can also fill in these. It's a 3, 7, and 9. These, 1, a 2, and an 8. That is not a 1. These are 4, 5, and 6. Now, what does this tell me? Let's see. This cell is restricted because it's either a 9, in which case it's high, or if this is a 7, it's a 2 or a 3. It's not a 2. Well, actually, it can't be a 3 because 7 would mean this would be low without it being a 1 and a 2, and it can't be a 3 or 4 because it wouldn't differ by 5 from the 7. So therefore, it must be 4, 9. That is going to do wonders because that means this is a 5, that is a 4. Booting out 9 from here. This is 3, 7, so that means this is a 9. That's a 3, that's a 5. That's a 7, that's a 3. This is amazing. This I will make blank because I need to keep up with the coloring standards of the puzzle. So I will do that to keep up with the coloring. Never forget your coloring, kids. Never forget it. Okay. Just doing some tidying up of the colors. Now, these are 7 and 8, so of course they will be both red since they are high digits. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5 needs to go in the column somewhere. Remember, it can't belong on a German whisper, so the only place is right here. taking out a 5 from here. This is sneaky, 4, 6, 4, 6. So there's a 4, 6 pair. It's a little bit sneaky. So this cell is a 7 or an 8. Because those are the only two digits, 7, 8 here, 7, 8 there. So it is high. So this is low, and it is a 1 or a 2. That means this is high. It's not a 6, so it is a 7 or 8. So there's a 7, 8 pair and 1 or 2. We need a 6, which is either here or here. This 7, 8 pair, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2. We need a 3 and a 4, which must go there, and they are both low, so I will make them blue. Very nice, very nice. Ah, 4, 6, 4, 6. You can't make this a 4. Because one of this is either a 4 or 6. This is either a 4 or 6. So either way, one of these squares will contain a 4. So you can't make this a 4. So that means that's a 3. That's a 4. Forces this to be an 8. Forces that to be a 4. Forces this to be a 6. And now we will just tidy it up. That means this is a 5. No longer 8's there. No longer an 8 here, no longer a 3 there. This is 2. This is a 6, which means that's a 6. This is a 1, 2 pair, 1, 2 here, 1, 2 there. So now this is a 9. That's a 2. That's a 7. That's a 3. The whole thing is coming down. The whole thing, it's cascading. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's coming down. The whole thing. The entire puzzle is unraveling right before our eyes. Look at this. This is beautiful. You gotta be kidding me. No one to finish it off. Let's go. 32 minutes, 51 seconds. Incredible. Now I will do my due diligence and I will finish the coloring because, of course, we know how important the coloring is to my sanity, my overall well-being. There you go. I'll leave the 5s colorless. We only care about lows and highs. So that is the puzzle. I hope you liked it. I will see you in the next one.